So it's happening again today. It just happened just now. It's a breaking court gives Inec nod to reconfigure Bvas machine. That has been the topic of the week lately. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's touch on it and go through it and see what the court has just said. Because to me, the whole system is shaking, and everyone is just not sure of what to. We don't know what to expect, from the system anymore. So the credibility of the whole system, of the whole foundation that the system was tend to be built upon, is rocky. He said Abuja, the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, sitting at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, on Wednesday, gave Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) the nod to configure the Bimodal Voters Accreditation System (Bvas) it's used for the presidential election. The court, in an as in a unanimous decision by a three-member panel of justices, held that stopping the electoral body from reconfiguring the Bvas would adversely affect the impending governorship and state assembly elections. It dismissed objections that the Labour Party LP and its presidential candidate Peter Obi raised against INEC move to reconfigure all the Bvas. So, see, according to the court, allowing the objection by Obi and his party would amount to trying or tying the hands of the respondents, INEC. Besides, it noted that INEC had, had in an affidavit it filed before the court assured that the accreditation data contained in the Bvas could not be tampered with or lost, as they would be stored and easily retrieved from its accredited back-end server. So it further observed that neither Obi nor LP, the Labour Party, controverted the, the positions in INEC affidavit, stressing that since such averments were not challenged, it amounted to admission by the applicants. Nevertheless, the court ordered INEC to allow the applicants to inspect and carry out digital forensic examination of all the electoral materials used in the conduct of the elections, as well as to avail them a certified true copy of results of the physical inspection of the Bvas. So people, like you all know, it doesn't take a layman like most of us who might be watching this clip anytime soon, in politics, to know how Nigerian system function. So in order to avoid all these doubts, I think it will be better for the court to either postpone the governorship election, if that is the case that they are trying to, put forward, and the House of Assembly election that is coming up on Saturday, 11th of March. So if that is what they are actually really trying to protect, then they will have maybe shift the election a bit, because after all, they've been doing that before so many times and nothing has happened. So this one is much more crucial as far as I am concerned and Nigeria is concerned, the economy is concerned. The presidential and national assembly elections, we tend to be fraudulent or fraudulently, declared to favor one candidate against above others. So, and up to now, the dust is still hanging in the air. You understand? So I think they would have just done that. Very simple. But as we all know, the APC control this government. They control the judiciary. They control everything. The three arms of government is in their. They control everything. So not just control. In fact, they manipulate them to do whatever thing that they want them to do, and they does it without, you know, without thinking about what tomorrow might bring and stuff. So that is it. So this is what I was actually expecting. Was going to happen because I was expecting a miracle if they happen to you know do it the other way around and try to be on the side of the people because this common sense these days is not common anymore, especially when it comes to Nigeria politics. Common sense seems to be lacking. So that is it. So they've ruled. So that is it. Whether Obi came there or Obi did not or Tinubu come there or not. Now they said, okay, you can go ahead and at the same time inspect the same the tools and that the Inec used and the machines and stuff like that. So, but who knows to what extent would they be allowed by Inec? Because don't forget that Inec also they also command some authorities when it comes to some certain things because now they have their engineers working night and day in those warehouses where these things are kept or in those underground where those things are kept. You know, either erasing or installing new, uploading new materials and things like that. These are very easy things to do. In fact, they can do it from anywhere. You know, and the same backup, they call it a backup system or the server backup system that INET said they never had in 2019 after the election of 2019. Now all of a sudden they now have it, right? So are we sure that that same system is functional, or that the system is even good? But we all know that they have all had this thing all along, simply because it was in their favor to deny not having it as at that time, in order to deny the other party, the access to inspect the same server that was in conflict with what happened as at that time in 2019 election. Then they denied not having it. So one of these days, they will also deny not having even Bvas, even when they were preaching the gospel of Bvas throughout the whole time, that the Bvas was the saving grace of the whole mankind this time around. But all of a sudden, the Bvas, when it was time to use the Bvas, apart from all the money that was invested by the federal government, millions and millions of dollars that was invested, maybe even billions of dollars that was invested into these gadgets and things like that, all of a sudden these things refuse to work or do what they were meant to do. Can you imagine you or you're running a company, bringing out money from the company and budget a certain amount of money for a particular gadget to be shipped in, and now all of a sudden on the day you were told that these machines are not working? What would you say? What will you do? You ask for the refund of your cash immediately, and all the damages that have been caused, everything they have to be compensated or recompensated. So I think that is what Nigerians should be doing this time around because INEC has just taken everybody for a mess, for a ride. In fact, this man has messed himself so up to the extent that even the international community and all Africans, in diaspora, are so pissed with the whole with the whole thing ongoing in Nigeria political sphere. So it's no secret anymore that INEC has really sold out, you know, to 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 make sure that they bring in their candidate or their preferred candidate and force that candidate on Nigerians, whether they like it or not, or whether they like him or not. So that is what just happened right now. So I think every other thing will be needless I mean, to start touching on as far as the Bvas issue is concerned. To me, that's a wrap for now as far as Bvas is concerned. So let's touch on other issues. that are making the headlines. He said INEC prepared, jettisoning own guidelines for presidential poll. That was the same Chatham House that they were running to before the election, if you still remember. You know, so the Chatham House they were running to has now brought out their own verdict on what they saw or what they thought happened. It's a London-based independent policy institute, Chatham House, has released this analysis of the presidential and National Assembly elections held in Nigeria on February 25th. It said INEC announced the presidential candidate of APC, Bola Tinubu, as winner. You see, according to INEC, Tinubu came, you know, victorious with 8.8 million votes. You see, while the PDP came second with 6.9 million votes, and the Labour Party Peter Obi came with 6.1 million votes. However, Atiku and Obi have initiated proceedings to challenge the result at the presidential election tribunal. So, to cut long story short, this same Chatham House has become their mecca of a sort before elections has now passed their own verdict, because the INEC chairman was there before the election, Obi was there, and every other presidential candidate like Atiku and even Tinubu himself was there. So they made their aspirations known and stuff like that. So, but this time around, it's not a secret that everybody knows, that the whole world knows, that this whole system was rigged, that the laws or the laid down rules were not followed, that everything was a mess or shamble. So, but I wonder how these people, how shamelessly they are, that these same people, as we speak, maybe as we speak right now, some of them are still traveling to that same UK and London and answering SLNC with their agbadas and stuff, right from the airport, entering the limos and, big taxis and talking big and shit, So, you can imagine that. That's what they do, because most of them have their houses there. They will have housemaids, gardeners and what have you, drivers who are doing absolutely nothing, just being there, waiting for them to visit once in a month or once in a week, or and things. So this is what they do. But what baffles me is that now that the so-called Chatham House that they've always run to before the election or seeking their validation on has passed this kind of judgment on them, how would they be feeling? But because they are shameless, I wouldn't care less how they actually feel, because I know that they won't feel anything, because they're just hoping that this whole thing will soon fade away. Because don't forget that the Chatham House actually that they are talking about, it just, they call it an non whatever, what they call it, London-based Independent Policy Institute. What is that? Eh? We know it's London-based Independent Policy Institute. What sort of policy is that? Is it policy to ruin Africa, or policy to exploit Africa, or policy to install the kind of government they want for Africans that they think will be good for Africans? Think. What kind of rubbish? How will you, a country, a so-called independent country, will always be running to a certain institute because it's being managed by some British or some white people or white folks in the UK, with some hidden agenda that the Nigerians don't know, that they alone know. They did not use this one now to win hook everybody into dancing. What do you call what did Tinubu call that thing yesterday? That this guy was dancing, that article was dancing. Is it Keremu or what? They dancing all kinds of clown dancing in the marketplaces in the UK. Then they come back all smiling, like they've achieved something. So now, that so-called Chatham House has passed a judgment on them. So how would they handle it? Would they be clapping or would they be sending their lobbyists or making some phone calls through their lobbyists? They have lobby firms all around UK and US, who have contacts with number 10 down the street and the White House to try to, water the ground for them so that they can have a smooth ride. That's what they always do. So let's not get carried away, whether with Chatham House or whatever house they call it. You can call it exploitation house and what have you. Who give a fuck about that? We don't care. We don't want to know. So that's my take on that. So Chatter House or no Chatter House, let them chatter on their own these things there and mind their own business. You know, After all that they own us, they still own us. And there are so many things they still withhold till tomorrow. What they call them bronze and call them all kinds of things that they stole from us. They still have them in their own possessions. So whether they are coming on with some funny names and things like that, it doesn't really matter. After all, when they came to Nigeria, you know, before before colonialism, they came, in form of trade. That's what they always do. They come in form of something, and they come with another thing, with then another thing follows. So the same thing. So what I'm saying is, don't get carried away. Let's fight this fight. This is our own fight. This is not the fight of Chatham House or UK or US. They have their own opinions. Who cares? Let them keep their opinion to themselves. They can voice it out. If it favors the people, then fine. But if it doesn't favor the people, let the people speak out for themselves. You know, and let get things in order and get things working again for this country. Thank you. And God bless you. I hope very soon we'll be able to have some good news. So after this one, I'm still going to make another shot on another one. That's quite interesting. So please subscribe if you have not, and give us a thumbs up and likes for our videos. We need these things to grow. Please grow our channel for us, please. With you, we can grow our channel. Without you, the channel will be non-functional. So please make it functional. That's what we want to bring you more news and more good news and more, you know, more ideas on how to grow our economy and our polity.